Hello and welcome or welcome back. Um, my name is Katie. I am 25 years old. I live in Kentucky. I am on a low income. I work one full-time job, one part-time job, and I am in school online part-time also. And as you could probably tell from the title of this video and the thumbnail, this is a little bit of a different video. We will not be doing any cash stuffing today. This is just going to be a debt confession, and we are going to start back in February of 2023, and we are going to go over my debt journey so far, where I was a year ago and where I am now. And sorry, I'm a little nervous about this video, so just bear with me a little bit here. But let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, unfortunately, this video starts with a shut-off notice from my gas company. So, if you didn't know where I am here in Kentucky, the two coldest months of the year are January and February. And I do heat my house with natural gas, and so yeah, it was really bad. But let's go ahead and get started here. So first of all, I owed the electric company $267.96. They had not sent me a shut-off notice yet, but it was coming. It was definitely coming. So, and I was behind on that bill too, but our gas company, Columbia Gas, I owed them $415.15, and they did send me a shut-off notice. I had a month to get them this money, or they were going to shut off my gas. Kentucky doesn't warm up until like April, if you're lucky. But so I was in trouble. I was in a lot of trouble because they wanted their $415. And on top of that, the electric bill was late. I would say that they probably had the shut off notice ready and they just hadn't officially sent it yet. But I had, just full disclosure, guys, I'm being totally honest in this video. So full disclosure, I think I had like maybe $5 in my bank account. I was not cash stuffing at the time. I had no cash. I was in the process of maxing out my credit cards again just to get groceries for that month. So it was really, really bad. I had not filed my taxes yet. I always get a refund because I've set up my withholdings so that I get a refund, because I'm like absolutely terrified of the IRS. But so I had not filed my taxes yet. And so what did I do? I went online and I took out a $600 loan to cover the gas bill because this $415 was on top of the regular monthly bill. So that is just what was behind what I owed them from missed payments. So I borrowed, well, technically I borrowed $500 from that loan servicer, but by the time I paid it back, I owed them $100 in interest. So I ended up owing them $600. I did hold on to the $500 that I borrowed, so I did still have that, but then I, of course, had to come up with another $100 to repay that, because after I got the shut-off notice from the gas company, I immediately went and found, like, the fastest way to file my taxes for free, and that's what I did. And thankfully I did get my taxes back last year in time to take care of all of this. So I got to pay the electric company off, I got to pay the gas company off, and I got to pay this off. But by the time that was done, my tax return was toast. I didn't have anything left of it. So anyway, continuing on to the rest of my debt that I owed at the time. Everything from here on out will be listed from the lowest balance to the highest balance. So next we have Affirm. I had taken out this Affirm loan quite some time ago. I'd been paying it for a while. It was for a dishwasher. Full disclosure. It was a really dumb purchase and I shouldn't have done it, but I still owed $47.84. Then I had another Affirm loan for a Bissell spot clean that I still owed $162.18 on. Then I had another Affirm loan for a laptop because I was planning on going back to school in August. I was not back in school at this time, so I didn't start until August. By the way, also, at this point in time, I did not have my part-time job. So all I had going for me was my full-time job. And so I had bought a laptop, and I still owed $221.54 on that. And then we had my Capital One Platinum card. It had a $300 credit limit, and my February statement. I got a lot of these numbers by looking back at my statements because I didn't have them all wrote down at the time. So that statement was for $286.35. So nearly maxed out. Then we had my Capital One secured card, which also had a $300 credit limit, and it was sitting at $293.06, so very nearly maxed out. And then there was Capital One, my Walmart rewards card. That one had a credit limit of $500, and I owed $476.40, very nearly maxed out. It was going to end up maxed out by the end of the month because, like I said, I had like $5 in my bank account, and so it was going to have to pay for groceries and things. And then this is probably one of the worst ones. I had a payday loan of $500, and so by the end of it I owed them $590. I'd been carrying that payday loan around for several months at that point. I could not borrow back more than $500. That was the maximum amount. So every month I was because a payday loan works is like you borrow $500 and then you pay back $590. Like, you have to pay back the full amount. But then, so once I'd paid back the full amount, like, I didn't have enough money to, like, live. So I would have to borrow the $500 back out. So I was basically just losing $90 every month to the payday loan. And then, actually, the next one on here, I will say I was not aware of the next loan on here because the next two are student loans, and they are actually from 2016 and 2017, the first time I went to college before I dropped out. And I thought that I had paid all of those back, but apparently not. So in February, I was not aware of these next two loans. I was made aware of them in July, but they did exist, so they are on here. I have an unsubsidized student loan, federal, worth $2,251.52. And then there was a federal subsidized student loan for $3,752.57. And then our last thing on the list today is my car, which I had just bought in October of 2022, and I still owed, I believe the price of the car was like $6,300 or something like that. But anyway, I still owed $5,948.80 on that. And that brings our grand total for what I owed in February of 2023 to $15,313.37. And I am aware that this is not, like, this is a relatively small number. I have seen a lot of debt confession videos on YouTube, and, you know, there are much higher numbers out there than mine, but, I was making, like, quite a bit less, a year ago than I am now, and, like, on my W-2 that I got back this year to do my taxes for 2023, my income for the year was literally like $21,800 and something. So for me, $15,000 is a lot. Like, that's a scary number for me because I don't make a lot. And to know that I owed like such a large percentage of my yearly income, and that's gross, that's not even net income, such a large amount of my gross income for a year is just really, really terrifying. So, let's go ahead and let's talk about what I did. So, make sure I still have this in camera. So like I said, when I did get my tax return last year in time to pay off the electric and the gas company and that loan I took out. Let me make sure that this is showing up on camera. And it kind of is. How about we just do this? There we go. So then in March of 2023, that is when I bought my very first cash binder, and that is when I started cash stuffing. And for March and April, I was just really trying to, that's about the time that I got my second job, by the way. And so I was just trying really hard to like get stable, you know, to where my bills and stuff weren't falling behind anymore. And I was just trying to like stop using the credit cards. I wasn't really trying to pay anything off. Everything was getting minimum monthly payments, which at the time, of course, there was no payment for my student loans because they were still on pause from COVID. But I was just paying minimum monthly payments on everything and trying to get myself sorted so that I wasn't going into more debt, right? And then actually, in May, I was told that I needed some pretty extensive dental work, and so I kind of went into like kind of a survival mode, like I was just trying to get by. I wasn't really worried about paying anything off at that point, because, you know, dental work is really expensive, and I did have insurance, and I did also have an FSA account that I could use to pay for some stuff, but I wasn't entirely sure what it was going to cost. I wasn't entirely sure what the insurance would cover, or if I would have enough in the FSA account to cover it, and it was just a really bad time. But anyway, I ended up getting that dental work done in June. And then in July, which, by the way, my birthday is in July. It's actually the very first day of July. So, you know, fun fact, I always got fireworks for my birthday. But, so at that point, I was officially 25 years old, and I was made aware of my 2 student loans that had apparently been in default. I did have to sign up for their Fresh Start initiative so that the school could give me financial aid for this year. And so that's about the time that I decided, because at that point I had worked everything out so that I was not going into debt anymore. I managed to pay for the dental work without having to go into any more debt. I did have enough in the FSA account to cover it. I was doing infinitely better than I was in February. And so I decided to start tackling stuff. Now, at that point, the Affirm loan for the dishwasher had fallen off on its own. And so I started preparing to attack my debt. So in August, I wiped out the Affirm loan for the Bissell. And then in September, I knocked out the Affirm loan for the laptop. I did get a little bit of a financial aid refund in September, and I used that to knock out the payday loan. And then in October, I just kind of worked on the credit cards. I didn't manage to actually pay anything off that month, but I was working on it, right? And then, let's see, November and December, I paused the debt payoff because I have always had a really bad habit of going into debt for Christmas, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And so I paused the debt payoff in November and December to make sure that I could get through Christmas without taking out any more debt. And I managed to do that. This past Christmas was actually the very first Christmas since I became an adult that I did not take out any debt whatsoever to make it through Christmas. I was really proud of myself for that. But then, after Christmas, by that point, the Platinum card's balance was very low, so I wiped it out in January. And then, so this month, February of 2024, I got another refund from the spring semester for my financial aid. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was just enough that with a little bit of help from, my paychecks and the whatnots, I did manage to wipe out the last 2 credit cards. And so we are left with the unsubsidized student loan, the subsidized student loan, and the car. Now, all throughout that, I was making minimum monthly payments on my car, which, by the way, is $250. And I know that that is a relatively low amount. I know there are hundreds of people out there whose monthly payment on their car is like $500 or more. But again, my car was like fairly on the cheap side to begin with, because it was old and whatever. But so like a $250 car payment is like quite a bit for me. But I had been making those payments on it, so let's go ahead. By the way, the student loans have not been gaining any interest even after repayment picked up, because I am on the save plan and my income does qualify me for a $0 monthly payment. And the thing about the save plan is that as long as you make your monthly payment, interest will not accrue on any loans. And so even though this one is a subsidized or an unsubsidized loan, and those are supposed to gain interest always, no matter what, they do not gain interest under the save plan as long as you make your monthly payment. And like I said, my monthly payment is $0. And so they're just sitting there with a $0 monthly payment, and they are not gaining interest. So they have stayed the exact same this entire time. But the car is different, so let's go ahead and get our updated numbers. So now, let me make sure this is on camera. So now, in February 2024, we're going to start with the car. My car balance is sitting at $2,000 or $2,698.80. So we are relatively close. If I keep making the minimum monthly payment, I will make my last payment in January of 25. So that's pretty cool. I would like to make like an extra payment or two to just, it would be really nice if I could pay it off before Christmas this year, but it's not really the goal for this year. We'll get into that in a minute, but the unsubsidized loan is still sitting at the same $2,251.52. The subsidized loan is sitting at the same $3,752.57, which brings my new total to $8,702.89, which means that in the last year, from February of 2023 to February of 2024, I have paid off $6,610.48 worth of debt. And the crazy thing is that there are people out there in the world who make that much money in a month. But I just, that is a huge number for me. I mean, that's huge. And it breaks my heart, because if I could pay this much debt off, that means that I could have saved this much in the past year. And I wasn't able to, because I had all of this debt, because I was making stupid decisions and doing stupid things. And I think this is a really good point in the video to say that you know, everyone makes mistakes, especially like in their 20s and even in their 30s, you know, like people make mistakes. We're human. And the thing about a mistake is that it's not the mistake that's important, it's what you do about it. It's what you learn from it. And so, you know, if you're out there and you're looking at a massive pile of debt and you're feeling like crap because of it, I want you to remember that the important part is what you do next. The important part is where you go from here, right? The important part is that you learned something from this. And I did. I learned from this. I'm working. I worked really hard to get it to make it better, you know. For several months there, my grocery budget was like $75 for every 2 weeks. And then for another long time, it was $100 for every 2 weeks. If you've seen my cash stuffing videos where I stuff my wallet, you'll know that my grocery budget per 2 weeks now is $140. That is a very, very recent increase. Like a week or two before I started my channel recent. And I, you know, I worked really hard, and that's important, you know, that's important. And I want to remember that I worked really hard, and there was, you know, there was a lot of, and even the money that I was given, like the refunds from my financial aid from school, I have to pay taxes on those, by the way, in case you didn't know. Because they weren't loans, they were like grants and scholarships. But like I could have done something really stupid with that money, you know? Like, I could have done something really stupid, and, you know, a little over a year ago, I probably would have done something really stupid. But I didn't. I made the choice to pay off my debt with it, to let go of it, so that I could pay these things off, so that I could be at peace finally. Because all of these minimum monthly payments were killing me. I was drowning in minimum monthly payments. It was miserable. It was the furthest thing from peace that I've ever had in my entire life, to be honest with you. But I mean, I did it, you know? I paid off that much money. And so the reason that I'm not super worried about paying the car off all that early is because I want this year to be about breathing. I want to be able to save some money, because I was not really saving anything for the past year. So I want to be able to save some money. I want to be able to put some money into my sinking funds so that I can be more prepared for things. Because I have gotten my debt down. And like I said, these student loans are just sitting there with a $0 monthly payment, and they're not gaining interest. So they're not hurting me right now. And so really it's just my car. And the balance is pretty low. And I want to focus on saving and adding to my sinking funds, and just trying to kind of enjoy the fact that I did dig myself out of so much. And especially when I don't make so much money. You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes when you have a low income, it can just kind of feel like there's nothing you can do. Like, you'll never be able to save up for a house. Like, you'll never be able to save up and pay cash for a car. Like, you'll never be able to save for retirement. You know, I always felt that way. It was that I didn't make enough money to do anything. I had to go into debt to survive. And that's just not true. And this year, I want to prove that to myself. And maybe if there's somebody out there who sees my videos and they see how much I make, you know, maybe that can help them realize that they can do it too. They can pay off their debt, and they can save for these things, because that's what I'm going to do. I am going to save for my future, and I'm going to add to my sinking funds. And I'm going to be at peace. I'm going to have all of this paid off one day, and I'm going to have a house one day, and I'm going to have a retirement account, and my next car will be bought with cash. I'm gonna do it, because I can't live like this anymore. I can't do it. Like, I couldn't sleep because I was so stressed out about all of the money that I owed to everybody. And it's time to look forward instead of back. It's time to save that money, which kind of explains my channel name. But yeah, that's my debt confession, guys. A year ago, I owed $15,313.37. And today, I owe $8,702.89 with a 21,800 something income. I managed to pay off $6,610.48 in a year. You can pay off your debt. You can. Any of us can. We just have to do it. We just have to figure it out. It is possible. Yeah. So, let me see here. Yeah, this is a super long video, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for checking this video out. If you liked it, or if you're interested in following the rest of my journey, go ahead and check out my channel. I've got 6 other videos on there, so it wouldn't take very much for you to catch up. And make sure you leave a like, leave a comment if you want. What do you think about what I managed to pay off in the last year? And subscribe to the channel, and because it helps a lot. Every time I get a new subscriber, I smile so big, because it's just wild to me that anybody is interested in following along with me on my journey. But that's all for now. We'll see you next time. Bye!